Engine analysis is ruining your chess. The convenience of finding all the best moves at a click of a button, along with the swift interface, means you're forced to never use your brain. But what does this mean for your chess improvement? It means stagnating your progress and stunting your growth by only thinking on your own during your games. For example, instead of just finishing a game and instantly checking the game report maybe to see your accuracy or if you got any brilliance, maybe try and analyse the game on your own. Try and see any of the plans you could have done better or executed further on, or any themes in the game developed further. Unsafe kingside or big central control leading to one side having the advantage through most of the game. This deeper analysis of the position broadens your ideas in specific middle games, especially in the openings you play or positions you sort of come across a lot of the time. This helps because it sort of allows you to play chess like Magnus in a way, because in his mind he has his database of tens of thousands of games that he can just recall from memory. I'm sure you've seen that one video where he just sees the position, just says the game off instantly, date and time and the players. And this is because whenever he's playing a game, he's thinking, yeah, this is similar to a game played in a Soviet bar in 1942. They had the same pawn structure and managed to play for a win because of it. Obviously, you might not be getting even that echelon of chess. Once you have the pattern recognition, it's easy to find the best moves because you might know the mistakes or the best plans in the position, and it just makes it so much easier for you to play. You don't have the burden of calculating every single variation. Compare this to just blindly checking the moves with the engine, and you can see how much this is going to help your chess. Because normally, you're just sort of half-arsed, oh, that was best move, oh, engine didn't like that, oh, when did it like that, I don't know. Some lines you've probably half-arsedly checked anyway. Stop getting Stockfish to do the chess for you, because in a real game, it isn't going to be there, and you won't have improved, because engine have basically done the chess for you. Like, think about it. You're basically cheating during your analysis of the game. It doesn't make any sense. So what is the ideal approach then? I mean, look at Bobby Fischer, for example. He played in a time where there literally wasn't any engines, so he was forced to just use his own brain and analyse something by himself. Now, I'm not saying you need to sit on your own and lock yourself in a dark room and analyse for 8 hours straight. That's just silly. I'm just saying, once you finish a game, or when you plan to analyse, just open up the boards without the engine and just try and look at the game. So remember what happened in the game, think, well, could I have avoided this from happening, or why did your advantage spiral? So what was your opponent's bad move? What did that allow you to do? And examine the sort of themes in the game, as I mentioned earlier. The key is to see the engine as a tool and not as a coach. Also, if you're trying to figure out why you went wrong instead of specific mistakes you made, you might be able to find themes that you don't perform as well as. Let's say you're quite weak in king and pawn endgames, maybe time to brush up on them. But if you don't focus on trying to understand these themes and figure out where you're going wrong, you're not going to know what to study and focus on when you're trying to practice your chess. So what would this look like in practice? So here's a game I played yesterday. Unfortunately I lost, but that's why we're analysing it. So as you can see, I have the game report right here, but instead of just looking at my accuracy and trying to see my best moves, see what the engine thinks, because that doesn't really engage your brain that much, my point is just go on the analysis here, turn off the evaluation, turn off lines and feedback. But then as you can see now, there's no eval bar or anything. So now I can go through the moves, and you can see here I have all my analysis of moves, and then the lines I thought would have been better. And after you've done all this, like, don't do every move as I've done here. As you can see, I've only done like some moves that will be like big mistakes, or ones I really thought I could have done better, or like why I thought moves were bad, so I've written it down and everything. You don't have to write it down, you can sort of do it in your mind. And then afterwards, you can then turn the engine back on and then see, so I said like F3. My analysis here looks clunky, but it has access to the very important G4 square and gives me a crazy center, as you can see, with all this. And then this is the move I thought was better than the move I played in the game, Bishop G5, I found F3, which I sort of remember this theory, but I didn't play it in the game. As you can see, I found this in the after analysis before I turned the engine on. Now I can see with the engine, yes, this was the best move. And I think I even analysed the line, Bishop E6, Bishop G5, Queen D7. I thought this looks pretty good for black. Because in the game, I allowed this Queen E2 infiltration, which I misevaluated as quite weak. But as you can see in the analysis I found, I actually had to move knight D2 here, because the fork was this pawn and this square. So if you go knight D2, it seems like a retreating move to defend the square, but it's almost forced. Because then after Queen A2, it's not best move, but it's what happened in the game. The defence would have been Queen C4, threaten the queen trade, and now everything over here is defended. I actually found the sort of top engine idea, because we are living in a time with engines, so it is best to use that to your advantage. And when it comes to analysing the game, just go through everything you think you need to go through, look at the themes. So themes in this game probably be, this was a Stafford Gambit game, so I could say, oh, maybe I need to brush up my Stafford Gambit middle games. But now I've got a pretty solid idea of what I need to do if I get to similar position to this again. Maybe evaluating queen infiltrations a bit more next time. And then afterwards, turn on the engine, see if the lines you calculated were correct. And if not, you can then look at the engine lines, or just more in general. If you see a line that you don't understand, and you think, well, what if I do this move? Well, then play it. So if you see a move, it says, spitting out some random move that you don't quite understand, play another move, like, oh, why can't I just play this? And the engine will probably show you a refutation to that. And if it's still really cryptic, it might just be an engine idea. Sometimes engine will just sacrifice a pawn for something very intangible that us humans can't really understand. So sometimes you also take the engine lines with a grain of salt, because if in this position you played sort of the best human move, that's almost the best we can ask for, because as a human player you can't hope to find some of these advanced sort of computer engine ideas, because obviously they calculate every single variation, which obviously won't be practical, you won't even have time for in a game, even if you did calculate accurately, so that's why you shouldn't hope to play like an engine. I mean, especially in opening prep, engine ideas can really help, but that's why sometimes you just got to let the engine just be an engine, you know, you can't try and think of like, be too hard on yourself, not find these sort of crazy ideas, which is why analysing on your own is so important. So I hope you guys found that useful, and hopefully if you follow these tips, you should really skyrocket your chess improvement. If you enjoyed that one, I have lots of other game reviews on my channel, so I'll probably pop one up on the screen. So if you enjoyed this video, hopefully I'll see you in the next one.